Yeah, for me, obviously, this is my 5th year coming up. So being at the University of Georgia for 4.5 years now, it's been a long journey, and it hasn't always been super easy. Those first 3 years were really tough, especially, getting a little scrap time, getting playing time, but it wasn't real playing time. But obviously, I knew that one day I was going to get that opportunity, and I think that's what helped me stay and, helped me to continue to compete and try to get better each and every day and just keep progressing. Because I knew when I got that opportunity, I just wanted to be ready. So once I did, come out, finally get there, and I'm super excited.
During that time waiting, you spent a lot of time with Brock Vandagriff. What are Kentucky fans really different?
Yeah, me and him built a great relationship. We still do have a great relationship to this day, and we talk almost every single day to this point. He's a great quarterback. He's a great athlete, but an even better person. So I think that aspect, as a quarterback, being a good person, being able to connect with your teammates, being a good leader, I'm super excited to, see what he's able to do at Kentucky and looking forward to him, having success.
Carson, a lot of people think that you and Quinn Ewers are the two best quarterbacks in college football right now. When you watch them, what do you think makes y'all two most different as quarterbacks?
Honestly, I don't really watch any other quarterbacks as far as, in college, so I really couldn't tell you. But, there's a lot of talented quarterbacks, throughout the entire NCAA, and we're all kind of going after the same thing. We all have the same goals, so obviously super excited to see how everyone else performs. And I was just at the Manning Passing Academy, so I actually got the opportunity to meet him. He's a great guy, and then build a relationship with a few of the other quarterbacks there. But just super excited for the season to see how everyone performs.
Thank you.
Yeah, another quarterback with the Manning Passing Academy, Jalen Noel.
Yeah, honestly, I really didn't get the opportunity to talk to him much. I introduced myself. I never had really talked to him, but we were doing so much the whole entire time, whether it was coaching the kids or we were actually the ones out there throwing. Never really got the opportunity to talk to him, but, he seemed like a great guy.
What are some of the ways you deal with all the outside, as a Heisman Trophy, all that stuff that comes along with being a quarterback? What are the ways you deal with that?
Yeah, for me, I think dealing with outside noise is just focusing on the team. I think the more that I focus on the team rather than myself, take it off of me, all that pressure disappears. Because when I'm focused on my wide receivers, when I'm focused on my O-line, when I'm focused on the rest of the team and how can I make each one of them better, all that pressure is gone and all that outside noise isn't even a thing. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm focused here. So, I know that's the biggest thing for me is, not being internally focused, but having that focus on the team and about what really matters.
What are your thoughts on playing at Texas for the first time? What do you think of their team?
Yeah, I'm super excited. We have a lot of good road games this year, and that's why you go to the University of Georgia. That's why you play in the SEC, to have those opportunities to play in big-time games against really good talent. Super excited to play at Texas. Obviously, haven't watched film yet. We got Clemson first week first, so let's start there. But super excited, to get to that week.
Last time you played at Bryant Denny Stadium, it was the COVID season, so there wasn't a full stadium. You just talked about road games. What's your expectation for that, and how do you prepare your team for big road games?
Yeah, I think, the preparation factor is the same each and every week. Nothing really changes from that standpoint, just where you're playing at, whether it's at home, whether it's at Bryant Denny, whether it's at Ole Miss, whether, it could literally be anywhere. But the preparation factor doesn't change, but super excited to get the opportunity to play in those type of atmospheres, especially knowing, it's probably going to be a primetime game, whether it's a night game, whether it's a 3:30. That information will come out later, but super excited.
Have
Carson,
you thought about Florida, Georgia, Carson? What it'll mean to run through and be the starting quarterback second year, but obviously starting in your hometown?
Yeah, absolutely. That game last year was probably my favorite game that I played in. It was very surreal. I got the opportunity to play in that stadium, the Jag Stadium, when I was 11 years old for the city championship. Now, we got absolutely smoked in that game. That's besides the point, though. But that was the last time I got to play there before I started this past year. And running out into the tunnel and just looking around, it was a very emotional moment for me, and it was very full circle to have grown up in Jacksonville and then finally got the opportunity to play in such a big rivalry game. So having the opportunity to come back and do that again, I'm super excited for.
You're training this off-season, obviously back in Jacksonville. Talk about some of the guys that you worked with and how maybe you took your preparation this summer to a different level.
Yeah, so my quarterback coach, Denny Thompson, they've really grown over the years, and there's a lot of guys that come through there. Guys, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams just did his draft prep there, Brock Purdy's down there. Met Mason Rudolph. I mean, there's a lot of guys I could go name for name for name, but obviously that's a huge part. I've been with him since my freshman, sophomore year of high school, and, you know, we really click. You know, he's a great guy, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to football. And just continuing to work with him as, you know, the season comes has been instrumental to my success.
How close did you come to coming to Florida and Holland?
Well, I was committed to Florida for baseball as a freshman. I think most people know that. But yeah, no, Florida was, I mean, one of my top 3 schools. I committed there for baseball, and then once I decommitted and when I opened up, I was like, okay, I want to play football. It was Florida, and then obviously I committed to Alabama, and then ended up choosing Georgia. So I mean, those were my top 3. So I was definitely close for sure back in high school.
Carson,
Results of the previous season or motivation, but coming that close to the playoffs, is that a spur for you?
No, I don't think so. I think Coach Smart is right on that factor that every single year it's going to be the same exact approach. Whether we go 0-12, which I don't think will happen, whether it's 0-12 the year before, whether it's a national championship, whether it's we drop one, that motivation that we have for each season is separate from the last and separate from the next. I think we're always super focused on where we're at now, take it day by day, because the standard that we have is always going to be the standard. Coach Smart is always going to hold that, and the way that we approach it as a team is always going to be the same regardless of the outcome of the season before.
Carson, going back to Brock, what stands out about his game? Obviously, we didn't get to see him play much in game, but what stands out to what you saw in the practice field?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very athletic quarterback. He's going to be able to make plays with his legs. Very cerebral, smart. You know, he's going to get the ball where it's supposed to. But I think that thing that's going to stand out is, you know, that being able to make a second play and also just being able to lead his teammates.